A timeless truth from the Bhagavad Gita tells us, the more you attach, the more you suffer. But no one really explains what that means, or why the things we love the most end up hurting us the deepest. Stay with me, because what Krishna revealed might completely change the way you understand love, pain, and letting go. Hare Krishna. This is Ojit from Ancient Soul Wisdom 108. In our last video, we explored how overthinking slowly takes control of your mind. But today, we are going to talk about something even deeper, attachment. Because the more you attach yourself to people, to outcomes, to expectations, the more you suffer. And what Krishna revealed about this truth might completely change the way you see your relationships and your pain. So, take a deep breath, slow down your mind, and listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Imagine this. You meet someone. They make you feel seen, important, loved. Slowly, they become your happiness. You wait for their messages. You depend on their words. Their attention becomes your emotional oxygen. And one day, they change. Maybe they get busy. Maybe they pull away. Maybe they leave. And suddenly, you feel broken, empty, lost. But here's the truth. It wasn't love that broke you. It was attachment. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that when the mind becomes attached, it begins to expect. And when expectations are not fulfilled, they turn into frustration, then anger, then suffering. Not because something is wrong with love, but because we unknowingly turned love into dependency.
On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjun stood frozen, not because he was weak, but because he was attached to relationships, to identities, to emotions. He looked at his own family, his teachers, his loved ones, standing on the opposite side, and his heart collapsed. He said, "I cannot do this." This is exactly what attachment does. It clouds clarity. It makes right feel wrong, and wrong feel justified. But Krishna calmly, patiently guided him. He didn't tell Arjun to stop caring. He didn't say, "Don't love." Instead, he revealed something deeper. He taught detachment. Not coldness, not indifference, but freedom. Freedom from emotional dependence. Because when you act from attachment, you suffer. But when you act from clarity, you grow. Let me tell you a story. Emma was deeply in love. At least, that's what she believed. She gave everything, her time, her energy, her identity. Her world revolved around one person. At first, it felt magical, but slowly, she started feeling anxious. What if he leaves? What if I'm not enough? Her love turned into fear. Her peace turned into insecurity. And when the relationship ended, she didn't just lose a person, she lost herself. But here's the truth. Emma wasn't in love, she was attached. Krishna's wisdom tells us, when you attach your identity to something external, you give it the power to destroy you. Because anything outside you can change, can leave, can disappear. But your inner self, your soul, remains untouched. Let's understand this deeply. Attachment says, "I need this to be happy." Love says, "I am already whole, and I choose to share." Attachment creates fear, fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of change, and fear always leads to suffering. Krishna explains that desire leads to attachment, attachment leads to expectation, expectation leads to frustration, and frustration destroys your peace. But here's the truth. The problem is not desire. The problem is dependency. When your happiness depends on something you cannot control, you are guaranteed to suffer.
We try to control everything: people, situations, outcomes. We want things to go exactly the way we imagine. But life doesn't work like that. Let me tell you about David. He worked hard, built his career, planned his future perfectly. He thought, if everything goes as planned, I'll be happy. But life had other plans. He lost his job, his relationship failed, everything collapsed. And he asked, why is this happening to me? But here's the truth. It wasn't life that betrayed him. It was his attachment to control. Krishna teaches, you have the right to action, but not to the results. Because results are never fully in your control. When you attach to outcomes, you suffer. But when you focus on action with surrender, you find peace. Listen carefully. This might change everything for you. Love does not hurt. Attachment does. Love is free. Attachment is controlling. Love gives. Attachment demands. Love trusts. Attachment fears. When you truly love someone, you don't try to possess them. You don't try to control them. You don't lose yourself in them. You simply love. But here's the truth. Most of us were never taught how to love. We were taught how to attach. We confuse intensity with love, dependency with love, pain with love. But Krishna's wisdom is clear. True love comes from wholeness, not from emptiness. So how do we live this truth? How do we love without suffering? Krishna shows a path. First, become aware. Notice where you are attached. Is your happiness dependent on someone else? Second, shift your identity inward. You are not your relationships. You are not your roles. You are the observer, the consciousness. Third, let go of expectations. Love people, but don't expect them to complete you, because they can't. And finally, surrender. Not in weakness, but in trust. Trust that whatever comes is part of your growth. Imagine living like this. You love deeply, but you are not afraid of losing. You give fully, but you don't feel empty if it's not returned. You experience life without being controlled by it. This is freedom. This is what Krishna wanted Arjun to understand. Not to run away from life, but to live it without attachment. Because when you are free inside, nothing outside can break you. So, if you are hurting right now, if you feel lost, if you feel broken, pause and ask yourself, is it love or attachment? Because once you see the difference, everything changes. If this message touched something deep inside you, stay connected. This journey is just beginning. Hare Krishna.